So every now and then, Steam takes a look at my bank account and says, "Hey Jules, good on you. You've actually managed to save a couple of pennies this month in spite of the cost of living crisis and the need to eat real food and your crippling Warhammer addiction. But how about you give me some of that money instead, and in return I'll give you some banging discounts on some of the best video games ever." And then I say, yes please, that sounds lovely. Thank you very much, Gabe. And so here we are with another Steam sale running from March the 14th to the 21st, and there really are some incredible deals to grab. So join me as I highlight the top 7 games that are worth picking up in this year's Steam Spring Sale. Number 7, Cocoon, that is 30% off. Now 2024 was an unbelievable year for blockbuster experiences, but that doesn't mean the indie world wasn't also hustling its butt cheeks off to fire out some great experiences as well, and so we say hello to Cocoon. Now Cocoon is a unique take on the puzzle action genre, where each world exists within an orb that you can carry on your back. So the core mechanic consists of you leaping between these worlds, solving puzzles within them, then stepping out of that world to combine, manipulate and rearrange them in order to solve intricate puzzles. Just don't think about it too much, as your brain will break. I'm pretty sure there's people who've understood Tenet that are still confused by this.
Oh, that part is a little dramatic.
It comes from the mind of the lead designer of Limbo and Inside, so you can be sure that you're about to enjoy playing as an innocent creature that is set to endure some sort of cosmic, existential horror. Like if you were watching Up, but instead of a tropical jungle, Carl found himself on the island from The Wicker Man. Taking away the Breakthrough Award at the Golden Joysticks and Best Debut Indie Game at the Game Awards, Cocoon made a huge impression amongst critics. Eurogamer even gave it their Game of the Year award for 2024. Not Indie Game of the Year, like actual Game of the Year. And this was in a year of Zelda and Baldur's Gate 3, so if that doesn't tell you how good Cocoon is, well, I don't know what will. Number 6, Red Dead Redemption 2, which is 67% off. Well, what do we have around here aside from 3 wells? Obviously, why, it's the rootinest, tootinest outlaw round these parts, Red Dead Redemption 2, a meticulous love letter to the very idea of the Wild Wild West, and one of Rockstar's crowning achievements. With gunplay so sumptuous that you could place it in an all-you-can-eat buffet, world building that has been painstakingly crafted with love and care, and of course, one of the most engaging narratives gaming has going, this is a title that really does deserve all the hype and praise it's received. And to be honest, at a full price, this game was actually hard to pass up on, so now that it's sitting with a 67% markdown, it is the perfect time to lose yourself in this outstanding world, whilst also keeping some gold in a sack that you've marked with a $sign. Seriously, it might be time to get a new wallet. Number 5, Blasphemous 2, that is 40% off. Now, if there's one thing that I love, it's challenging dark fantasy titles, and no, I'm not talking about the romance novel game The Sexy But Very Warty Orc, and if there's one thing that I love more than even that, it's when my challenging dark fantasy video games look as damn good as Blasphemous 2. If the original was a love letter to the big sweaty mound that is Dark Souls, then Blasphemous 2 is the Kama Sutra but dedicated to the Metroidvania genre. The difficulty might be slightly lower, but the backtracking, exploration, and desire to delve into every nook and cranny for rewards is at an all-time high, which also describes my level of joy whilst playing this almighty sequel. Developers The Game Kitchen sure cooked up a treat with this 2023 release, which once again delves into the horrifically twisted world of Roman Catholicism, but this time focusing on the penitent one waking in a new locale and being tasked with stopping a so-called miracle from blessing the land with what appears to be, well, every brand of death going. The combat in this game is sublime, allowing the player to switch up weapons and fighting styles on the fly and use them to solve platforming puzzles which require pixel-perfect accuracy. There's an incredibly deep lore that will have Soulsborne fans licking their lips as they piece together events through item descriptions and vague asides, and it's all delivered alongside some truly memorable boss battles and against a soundtrack that is made entirely of earworms. This is a great title that demands your attention, and for this price, well, it's well worth the long and very bloody journey. Number 4, Baldur's Gate 3, that is only 10% off. It's just that good though, so it's on the list. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 won every single game award available in 2023. Well, maybe that isn't exactly true, but it really isn't that far off, and regardless, it is widely considered to be not only one of 2023's best games, but also one of the best games in general of the last 10 years. With unparalleled player choice and deep, compelling storytelling, this turn-based RPG is the closest thing you can get to playing Dungeons & Dragons on your own. But don't let the D&D side of the game turn you off if you're not into that. If you loved Skyrim or even Final Fantasy, I'd bet good money on you absolutely absolutely falling in love with Baldur's Gate 3. Create your own character in meticulous detail and then decide the fate of the world in one of the biggest and most mechanically in-depth games ever created. Now, it hasn't gone on sale much since it officially launched late last year, and 10% off really isn't that much if we're being honest, but seriously, it is a treat. And you will definitely get all of the bang for all of your bucks with Baldur's Gate 3. And to add some icing to that already delicious cake, the game has brilliant controller support and is Steam Deck verified. Now, you'd obviously be doing yourself and the game a massive disservice by playing it in either of those ways, but hey, you do you and enjoy getting lost in the world of Baldur's Gate, you big old nerd. Number 3, Dredge, which is 30% off. Everyone likes fishing minigames, right? Well, Dredge is entirely a fishing minigame, but also with terrifying eldritch horrors. Yeah. Anyway, in Dredge, you sail your little boat around a set of varied islands and talk to the inhabitants that all live in fear of the world that they find themselves in, but are all just trying to ignore. Each of these areas has lore to discover and unique fish to catch, so be sure to grab every boat upgrade that you can, from new nets to stronger engines, to get the biggest catch, and also to outrun the monsters that will chase you when night falls. Yeah. In fact, a lot can happen when night falls, from the creatures stalking you to getting turned around while sailing straight ahead to seeing another ship that is an awful lot like yours headed straight towards you. Okay, that's enough for today. This is a simple but engaging title with some nice sights to see and some genuinely chill fishing moments, as long as the sun is shining, that is. Though if you do end up staying out too late into the day, you can use a set of strange abilities that you unlock throughout the game to give yourself the upper hand against the sea themselves. Number 2, Street Fighter 6, that is 34% off. Now, fighting game fans have been eating well as of late, with Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, and of course the wonderfully weird god of rock rhythm action face pummeler, but there was one big name last year that really kicked this new renaissance of rising uppercuts off, and that was Street Fighter 6. After the questionable start of Street Fighter 5, a lot of pressure was on Capcom to deliver the goods, and boy howdy did they ever, providing a monstrous single-player campaign, deep training modes, a fairly stacked roster that wasn't afraid to change up fan favorites, and of course a suite of online modes that allowed you to get your face kicked off in multiple ways. The fighting itself has never been nor looked better, with flashy animations aplenty and a salivating amount of technical data for true Street Fighter purists to dive into. The new drive system perfectly slots into play and offers a wealth of offensive and defensive options that all revolve around the 5 bars that you build up during battle. Do you push a flagging opponent with dashes to close the gap, or do you wait it out and counter their big move before opening up a salvo of punch and kicks of your own? It's just another way of putting you in the driving seat, which again you can actually do thanks to the wonderfully over-the-top character creator. Street Fighter 6 is at the top of its game, and now you can nab it at a hefty discount. And number 1, Warhammer 40k Space Marine, which is 80% off. Come on, you didn't think I'd go a single video without mentioning Warhammer in some form, did you? Come on, you've done yourself dirty thinking like that, but don't worry, as I'm here with an all-time belter that will have even those adamantly against the tabletop game reaching for their controllers. Warhammer 40k Space Marine is the no-nonsense thrill ride power fantasy that you've always wanted, and in some cases, never knew you needed. Gifting the player the power of one of the Emperor's finest and then positing a ton of orky and chaos-shaped meat sacks in front of them before saying, have fun with this, and handing them a bloody chainsword. This is a cathartic thrill ride of blood, brutal hand-to-hand combat, and all the bolter fire you could ask for. Despite releasing in 2011, the game still looks fantastic to this very day, and will get you more than hyped for the outstanding-looking sequel that is set to drop this year? ? Hopeful tone in my voice? And with a whopping 80% discount, there really is no reason to pass up on this glorious title any longer. And there we go, my friends. Those were the 7 games that we think are worth picking up in this year's Steam Spring Sale. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. Have you picked up these games? And if so, what do you think of them? Which ones would you add to this list as well? Let us know. As always, I hope that you're treating yourself well with love and respect, because you deserve the bloody best in life, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. You are a massive ledge. And as always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.